Hey and welcome to this new video of learning ECMAScript6. So in the previous video we have our first video about joins. So in this video we will also continue working with them. So here I will show you how we can write CSS in JavaScript or from JavaScript. So first let's create a div. So div and let's create, for example, some text for the test. And here, as you know, for example, if you want to type CSS style, we can either type it here inside the div with style equal like this, and here type in the style, or we can type it in another file the same way we did with the JS, or we can just go in here and open the bracket or open the tag style, and inside them write our style. So for example, for this div, let's make for just color. So color, let's give it red, for example. So now let's save this. Let's go to our or let's execute, and we will see here some text for test with the green, with red. If we want to add, for example, the font size, so font size, here it is, and let's make it, for example, 100 pixel. Save, go again and refresh, and here it is. So now I will delete this. I will just make it red, and now let's go to JavaScript, and so I will make this also comment, and let's type a new one. So let's create a new const, for example, my div, and equal to document, and this time not get element by ID or get by tag name, but we will use .querySelector, and here it is, querySelector, and here inside it we use the div. So now if we want to add some style in this div, we will use just the name of it. So my div, for example, dot style, and after that dot, for example, color, let's make, or let's change the color, equal to green. And I believe green need to be between those two, so we will see that green. Save. Let's go now and refresh and see, and there it is, they are in green. Let's add some font size. So my div dot style dot font size, and as maybe you see, we type them without the dash, we type them in camel case. So equal, and let's give it 100 px also. I think also this need to be inside the quote. So save, go now, refresh, and here it is. Now if we inspect element, we will see that the style is applied directly in the div. So here our body, where is the div? Here it is. In our div we found this style, and it applied directly on the div. But let's see if we add, for example, another div in our HTML. So I will just copy this and paste it in here. For example, I will type in here some other text, or my second. So my second text in here, let's refresh, and we will see that second text, even if we use querySelector and we give it the div, but it the style, it didn't apply. Why is that? Because here, or this querySelector, what it did, it the first match. So for example, here it goes to this HTML, and it search for the div. when it found this div, the first div, it will like the one who will apply with to style. And to make you see this, let's create a new div, but let's make it first. So let me just organize this. And here, for example, let's type some text. I don't want to be colored green. Let's save now. Let's go and refresh, and we see that the first div, it's the one that the JavaScript recognized and the one who applied style to it. We can also add the divs if we know, if you want. So let's add divs, for example. So id, not divs but id first. Here let's add also id equal second, and here id equal to third, for example. And now, for example, if I want to here to specify like the ID, I need to type it like this. Maybe you know it because you see or you have some knowledge about HTML or CSS. If it's not, I believe it will exist a playlist just for HTML5 and CSS3 for the one that want to learn it. So to type it an ID, we type this DS sign, and after that the name of the ID. So for example, first, and for the moment I will like delete this code, or I will make it also a comment. So now we don't have any DOM in JavaScript. Now, so refresh. I make it green. Let me just see what I did in here. Green first. Let's change it, or let's make it green. So yeah, green. Save. Go now. Refresh. And here it is. Just the div with the ID that it colored, or my CSS style applied to it. So now like to change from this idea that divs, and we know that divs or IDs must be unique, and for example if we want like to do or to make all those text green, we need to like copy this and paste it, and then change the name of the ID to second and then to third. So we have another thing that we can do, it's classes. So here and classes, we can like repeat them as many times as we want. So class, for example, and let's name it first. So first, and I will just copy and call it and paste it in other divs. And class, maybe you know them. If we want like to call them or to make some edit in them in style, we type dot, and after that the name of the class. So first. And now let's add some font size. So font size, and let's type them 50 pixel. Go now, refresh, and we see that we have like same color and same font size. Why? Because we are using classes. And now, for example, let's change them, or let's go to our JavaScript file, and let's like change in style of those divs with by using their class or the name of their class. So let's create const. Let's name it also my div equal document dot query selector, but this time not just query selector, it's query selector all. And since we want like to add them or to use class, that means we need here to type the name of the class, and I believe it's first. And this is basically what will return to us. It will return like not like an HTML, but you can consider them or take them as an array. So now if we want to like to make some change inside, we need to do the off loop. So let's do that. So for, and let's create a new variable. Let, for example, st for style of my div, and let's use, for example, this style dot style dot, what's that, dot let's use, for example, color, and c equal to red. So I'll save this, go and refresh, and here it is, they are now red. Let's add, for example, something else. So st dot style dot, for example, I don't know, font size. You can type basically whatever like CSS style that you want, and let's use 100, for example, px, so 100 pixel. And here it is. Now we know how like we can grab divs or some HTML block or some HTML block, we can call them block. So we can grab some HTML by their class and make some changes in our JavaScript. So let's go back to the HTML file and let's add, for example, some span in here. So let's add it in here, for example, text. So let's use span, and inside it I will copy and paste this text. Same thing in here also, or in the third one. So just copy and paste. This text, for example, to be colored in green. So now, for example, if we want to use style or the CSS and make some change with this span, we will like type like this: first, and after that span. This is what called like the child. So span, they are inside this first class or this div. That mean they are child to this first class or to this div. So now let's give them a color. So for example, purple. Let's save and let's go and refresh. Yeah, because here. So let's make this for the moment comment. Let's go back and refresh. Let's see here. Yeah, here I didn't type it well. So first. Now let's save, let's refresh, and there it is. We see here that the texts are in different color. Let's like put them in red so that you can see them better. Red. Go now and refresh, and here it is. If you want to do like the same thing but in here in JavaScript, you can do this here first and add Spain, and use them also in red and give them just 15 pixel, for example. Now let's go refresh, and there it is. I think because this one is bigger, that's why. So my document, yeah, because those are 15, that's why. So let's make them this small so that we can see the change. Refresh now, and here it is. So I think like if you are familiar with CSS, this will make sense to you, using or grabbing some tags or some HTML blocks or divs with their class or their ID. Now we know how we can do that. Also here, for example, if I didn't type this all, we will grab just the first one, but if we type this or we add this grab all, we will receive here it's a node list, but you can like think of it as an array. That's why we're using here the off loop so that we can like make some change in style. So I will like let's delete this all and let's see. Now we can just go and type directly my div dot and inside like type style, because we know that he will like give us just one, just first one. So style dot, let's also make color equal purple, so let's do blue this time. Inside those, so blue. Save now. Let's go and refresh and see what we will have. Just the first one. Also another thing that we can do, for example, we can use parent node. So I will show you what I'm speaking of. So console.log, and here let's add so my div dot parent node, and here it is. So basically this my div, what it is, it's a class, or it's the element first span. That means it's our span, and what are the parent of those span? It's the div. So here we must see like the div as the parent node. So let's refresh, let's inspect and see our console. So console, and here it is, our div. If now we go and we type like our parent node to our parent node, and what's the parent of those div are our body. So now let's go here and type another parent node, save, go now and refresh, and here it is, our body. We can also like do some style to our background parent node. For example, here let's use it. So for example, parent node dot style dot background style, background color, so background, and let's give it purple as an example. Let's save. Now we said that parent node of our div, this my div, which is like a span, it's the div, or this div, because it's the first one. So let's go refresh, and here it is. We see here that we can apply also some style to our background or to our parent node. Here I will make it yellow, I think it's better. Let's refresh, and here it is. Now we can see better. So now I think this is all for this video, and in the next video we will like talk more about also the DOM and EGS and classes. So